So, yeah, self control, I highly recommend just cultivating that and prioritizing it so that you don't fall prey or don't fall into the trap of constantly being consumed by other people's lives, by other people's thoughts. There are so many thoughts on social media. They, oh, so much discourse, so many opinions. And really, for your own self confidence, self esteem, your own life, and the realities of it, please be mindful. Watch social media with a pinch of salt. It is the root of living a good life in my eyes. When you know how to take charge of your mind and desires, you're probably going to focus on pouring into the more important things in your life, such as your peace, happiness, contentment, goals, growth, health, job, relationships. You won't be interested in impressing others and putting the things that matter most to you on the line for that. You probably won't be easily swayed by the ways of the world either. Because I'm listening to vulgar music and I'm swearing quite a lot as well. Like, I'm swearing excessively, and it shouldn't even be that way. So, yeah, I'm even getting self control over the tongue, over my mouth. And I think for me personally, it has helped that I've just stopped listening to music that is vulgar. The conversations I choose to have as well. What I'm saying, who I'm saying it to. I used to be an oversharer. I used to lack big self control in those. I had no control over my tongue. And a lot of the times we just need to shut up. I just needed to shut up. You just need to keep quiet. You don't need to be saying all of that. You just need to be quiet. Hi, community. Welcome back to A Cup Full. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope everybody is doing good. I hope you're doing okay. I hope you are taking good care of yourself. Y'all know I'm always going to encourage you to take good care of yourself because if you don't do it, who else is gonna? In this week's episode, we are talking self control. Now, listen, I really am enjoying conversations around self control a lot. Different angles, different perspectives, and I'm finding that there's such a satisfaction, peace, and calm that comes with self control when you can control your mind slash thoughts, when you can control your actions and reactions. There's just been such a peace of mind that has come from actively working on that and just focusing on that aspect of myself, because you know it's so important to be able to control how you are going to navigate life if you are not in control of a lot of the important things when it comes to your internal, especially, then it's very easy to get distracted or to move with whatever everyone else is saying and doing, In the Bible, it's considered one of the fruits of the Spirit, a way of being that encompasses being both obedient and humble in your approach to life. That's how I see it anyway. It's being able to just, yes, breathe out and be able to say, you know what, I'm actually not supposed to be reacting in this way, or this is not very conducive to what I say I want for myself, for who I'm trying to become, for the work that I'm doing internally. This is counterproductive. And then stepping back and saying, okay, I actually don't want to do it this way. I want to do it in a way that is more tuned to what it is I'm trying to achieve. And I'm still trying to figure it out myself for sure. But ever since I started practicing self-control in all the areas of my life, like I said, such as money and patience, particularly also when it comes to just like my interactions with others, and being not so quick to anger, not so quick to get irritated, not so quick to get annoyed. Um, it's just been there's just been such a difference. Like I feel so much more calmer and a lot more peaceful and clear minded. I don't allow my feelings and emotions to control my responses anymore. Whereas before, maybe I would have thrown a tantrum and maybe like outbursting, not a loud outburst type of tantrum where I'm just like silent treatment or cold shoulder. I would much rather prefer to communicate what I am feeling, or I'd much rather say, I'm really not in the space to speak about this right now, or to speak to you because of you have hurt my feelings or you've made me uncomfortable. Can you please give me some time and some space and allow me to just digest this? And then when I feel a lot less emotional or a lot less like I'm wanting to jump you, we can talk. We can talk. I obviously wouldn't say to jump you. Maybe I'd say it in my head, but yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. It's really helping me express my emotions properly as well, in a way that won't break the other person's spirit, that won't break their heart. I believe that we can communicate things and we can talk to each other without destroying the other person, like without destroying one another. And that's why I will always struggle. Now is even worse. Like I cannot engage when somebody else is hurling insults at me, or when they are actively trying to break my spirit and break my heart with awful words. I'm going to disappear, and if it is up to me, you will not see me again. You won't see me again. Well, for a while. I'll come back around, possibly, but I just do not have tolerance anymore for people that want to be awful when they're trying to express themselves. Prioritize your feelings and emotions, absolutely, but don't do it at the cost of someone else's well-being. Don't do it at the cost of someone else's of their sanity. Don't do that. There are also other areas that I'm seeing progress in, and I really want to share what self-control has been doing for a girl. Okay, my body. I'm very mindful of what I eat and how much of it I eat, and that's been so good. Like, I find that I have a lot more self-control in those areas. I have a lot more self-control over how much sugar I'm consuming, over how much junk food I consume. Like, I still do consume it, but it's not excessive, and I don't just like do it every day, you know. I'm very mindful of my body, and I know that it's so important to have self-control when it comes to the flesh, because oh, it can be a beast. The flesh can be a beast. Like, if you allow the human way, human perspective, when I say the flesh, the human way, when you allow, what do they call again, when you allow temptation to be a driving force in your life and you succumb to it every time it comes by, you're in trouble. Again, I've been there, where there has been very little self-control in my life, and it also makes you like really unhappy, and you just feel like you aren't in control, because you aren't. And that is another frustrating thing, to not be in control. I have self-control now as well over the music I listen to, and that's something that I actually really would just like to briefly speak on. Music has such a big impact, more of an impact on the human mind, the human brain, than I had ever understood or ever known of. And so when you're listening to certain music and you're exposing yourself to it, it does have a reaction in that way, and it does have an impact in that way. But also, like, obviously, when you listen to more calming music, you can feel that relaxation. When you're listening to the less calm, more chaotic music, you can also feel that in your body. But I also used to find that some of the songs I'd listen to, like the very vulgar songs, the very chaotic songs, I'm not going to go too deep into it, but So some of the music I used to listen to, man, no, no, no. Personally, this is a very personal opinion and personal experience. It was even affecting how I would see myself, like, um, and how I would speak as well. Like, I didn't have much control over my tongue because I'm listening to vulgar music and I'm swearing quite a lot as well. Like, I'm swearing excessively, and it shouldn't even be that way. So, yeah, I'm even getting self control over the tongue, over my mouth. And I think for me personally, it has helped that I've just stopped listening to music that is vulgar. There's actually also no point. Because if you listen to some of the lyrics on some of these songs, I go, like, some of the music that people will add to their as their background on videos. I'm like, wait, why so many F bombs? Why? Why are women being referred to in this vulgar and like just 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 very loose and oh my goodness, loose terms, loose vulgar words. It's just I just yeah. So again, that's my personal experience. I'm not saying that everybody will have that experience or everyone has had that experience, but yeah, I've just found that even the music that I listen to, having self control over that, and the series and movies I watch, having control over that, and being mindful of what I'm consuming has significantly contributed to my peace of mind and just being a lot more calm. And um, yeah, I used to watch whatever, really. I used to sometimes watch some really trash stuff that I shouldn't have been watching. And now that self control has become a big part of my life, I find that I'm a lot more mindful. Like, it's not just whatever for me. The conversations I choose to have as well, what I'm saying, who I'm saying it to. I used to be an oversharer. I used to lack big self control in those. I had no control over my tongue. And a lot of the times we just need to shut up. I just needed to shut up. You just need to keep quiet. You don't need to be saying all of that. You just need to be quiet. That is it. So, yeah, having self control and knowing what to say, when to say it, and to who to say it to has also contributed significantly to the peace in my life. I don't want to even lie about it, hey. And like I said, yeah, my reactions to certain comments or even a person bringing up something I did or said in the past is really different as well now. Because again, going back to the self control of the emotions, the feelings thing, just because I'm frustrated or I'm irritated with you, or just because I can feel that this is really upsetting me because it's not who I am anymore. And maybe I did that, or I did that, yes, but I was a completely different person. I was making completely different choices. I was in a different place mindset wise. I was just a different person. I am less likely going to explode or get upset. I would just much rather say, listen, I really don't want to go there. I've moved on. I'm not that person anymore. Can we please not talk about that? And obviously, I do have a problem with people or a person that wants to constantly bring up another person's past. When I've said I've moved on and I'm not there anymore and I don't want to talk about it, please respect that. Please respect it when other people make that request of you. And I hope that you understand that whether you are speaking to your parents or a sibling or a cousin or a partner or a friend, um, or a previous friend, like if it's a former or if it's a current, and you have expressed to someone that you are not comfortable with them bringing up things that you did in the past that you have clearly worked on and are moving on from, and are not looking to go back into the past and look at, and they aren't respectful of that, yeah, think about some other measures to put in place so that you are not constantly being reminded about things that you've moved on from, or you're trying to move on from them. So yeah, I like that self-control has just given me an opportunity to not constantly succumb to, whether it's intentional, whether it's unintentional, I'm grateful. I'm glad that I'm not in a space anymore where I'm just going to have a reaction or I'm going to behave childishly, because yeah, there's really no reason for that. Sometimes you don't even need to say anything. Sometimes you need to say two words, and sometimes you don't need to say anything. Do not entertain certain things. Um, what else? What else? Yeah, social media and what I consume and how much of it I consume. Woo! That's another area I used to like self control in. But now when I tell you that I could be on social media and not be as consumed by it as I used to be, that feels great. I also make sure to create space between myself and the socials. Like, I'll delete it for a couple of days, usually on weekends. And if I go on it, I also just make sure that I'm not exposing myself. I'm not exposing myself to things that I don't need to be exposing myself to. I'm reading Women Evolve by Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts. And she was saying that it's very, very important to create boundaries when it comes to what we choose to consume, because it does have a significant impact on you, on your mind, on your peace, on your joy. And if you are not careful, it will consume you. So it's important to create space. And if something is really not for me and I never want to see it again, I don't really use Instagram that much, barely use it. So when I'm on TikTok, which is the platform that I do use the most to watch videos and to obviously upload videos for the A Cupful podcast, if there's something that I don't want to see, I literally say not interested. There's an option to press not interested, and I promise you, I have never had to see anything that I've clicked not interested on again. And I really love that there is that option, that I don't have to see what I don't want to see again. And I just, yeah, I can keep it moving and I can enjoy watching the kinds of videos that I want to watch. So, yeah, self control, I highly recommend just cultivating that and prioritizing it so that you don't fall prey or don't fall into the trap of constantly being consumed by other people's lives, by other people's thoughts. There are so many thoughts on social media. They, oh, so much discourse, so many opinions. And really, for your own self confidence, self esteem, your own life, and the realities of it, please be mindful. Watch social media with a pinch of salt. Engage in social media with a pinch of salt. For real. And you know what it comes down to, for real, is if it's not your job, if social media is not something that you're doing for work, it's honestly not that deep. If you're using it as a digital diary, just your space where you're wanting to express yourself, that's great, but still with a pinch of salt. And do it for you. Don't do it because of you want to look like another girl who you saw, whose profile you saw, or because you're trying to mimic a famous TikToker's life. Do it because you enjoy doing it. Otherwise, it genuinely isn't that deep. And I have had to remind myself so many times that it is for real, not that deep. As Tseredo, I live in my reality. I live my life. And I must never forget that. I must never ever forget that by becoming consumed, by becoming so enmeshed in other people's lives and other people's businesses on social media. That can easily happen. Social media can be a great escape, but don't be trying to escape 7 days a week, 24/7, okay? You've got a life. You've got to go touch some grass and be exposed to the sun and go and smell the fresh air and go and experience and explore nature, okay? Okay, please. I've also found that my thoughts are just, they are not so chaotic anymore. Like I said, there's a lot more peace and there's a lot more calm. And I find that it's easier for me to be like, okay, I'm actually not going to let this into my, like, this is not going to fly for me. I remember, well, actually, oh my goodness, I just remembered. I remember listening to, was it a podcast episode? I think it was, or it was a video on YouTube. But this woman was saying that she thinks of her thoughts as planes flying in the sky, right? And she, oh yes, it was a YouTube video. It was from the channel Better Together, and they were having those women were having a conversation, and they were saying that, or this specific lady was saying that she just cannot let every thought land. Just like all of the planes at the airport cannot land at the same time, they need to get clearance. The pilot needs to get clearance from the person on the other side of that little mic monitor thing where they have conversation. The people that are sitting in the towers, they need to give clearance to the pilot that he can land or that she can land. So not all of your thoughts should be landing. You cannot allow all of your thoughts to have space in your head. Some of them just need to fly out to wherever they fly out. Erase them, forget about them. Yeah, we don't have to indulge all of our thoughts. And that's also been the most liberating thing for me. Like, oh, it's been so freeing. I'm not letting all of my thoughts land anymore. I really don't. And it's been absolutely great. There are things that I have no business, I have absolutely no business thinking about. And when it even tries, I'd be like, no, not you. Not you. I'm not a failure. I'm not stuck in life. I'm not behind in life. I'm not falling behind in life. I'm not ugly. Thoughts like those. Like, I don't let them land anymore. Because when you let a thought land, it just becomes a lot more harder. So to combat those funky thoughts that are hovering and flying over, I just remind myself that I'm beautiful. I'm blessed. I am blessed and highly favored. I am grateful for the things that I have been given. I deserve good things. I'm valuable, and so forth. And again, those are obviously things you need to cultivate within yourself and remind yourself. So do that. Remind yourself, and please, like, just the things that you are choosing to expose yourself to, the conversations you're having, the kind of people you have in your life, they contribute to a lot of these things, these thoughts that I say will hover in your mind. So yeah, when you allow things to control you, you're no longer in charge. Those things are in charge, and they dictate your actions. They dictate your behavior, your thoughts, your heart, and even the intentions thereof. In my experience, I was also a lot more quick to be angry about things not going my way, and even quicker to be angry at others and stay that way. It was so much easier to be petty and vengeful because I had no control over my mind or my heart. I had to express my feelings then and there, even if it meant in a very uncontrolled and selfish way. So, giving a person the silent treatment, that's not it. And I regret every single time that I've done that to somebody in the past. Giving someone the cold shoulder instead of expressing my feelings, expressing myself to them, it's not it. Sulking instead of opening up, not the vibes, not the way. And you're also pushing a person away. Like, it just creates so much dysfunction and toxicity. So yeah, self-control will save you so much time. It will save you a lot of embarrassment as well, because sometimes when we lacking control as human beings, it's embarrassing. It's just very embarrassing. The actions are embarrassing. The whole situation is just embarrassing. Self-control did not come first for me before, for sure. Satisfying my desires to show people that I can do it was, that I am not weak, that nothing can get me down. How people perceived me and my ability to tell you off was far more important than my ability to control myself. I didn't want to come across as the weakling. even though that is weak, having no self-control. But now, there is nothing I value more than having self-control. It is the root of living a good life in my eyes. When you know how to take charge of your mind and desires, you're probably going to focus on pouring into the more important things in your life, such as your peace, happiness, contentment, goals, growth, health, job, relationships. You won't be interested in impressing others and putting the things that matter most to you on the line for that. You probably won't be easily swayed by the ways of the world either. I highly recommend, I highly recommend, I'm always going to recommend effective communication. And although I'd always known about it, I recently read a book called Attached that has really changed my perspective on how to communicate with others when I'm frustrated or when I'm feeling overwhelmed or when I'm feeling sad. And effective communication will really have you being in a position where you are controlling your feelings, you are controlling your emotions instead of them controlling you. You speak openly, you are still also able to speak with compassion and kindness, but you're also able to be firm and honest. And really, that's a very important thing. Like I said, we don't break people, we don't destroy people's sense of self, we don't want to prove a point at the cost of someone else's well-being. So, yeah, please make an effort, make a big effort in 2024 to communicate effectively and to learn to control yourself in all areas of your life. Yeah, this is where we are ending this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one of you. Your support means so much. If you are wanting to put someone onto the podcast, please let them know that they can go and listen to a snippets of a couple of episodes on TikTok. The handle is at a cupful pod. And when they are ready to listen, to join the La Familia, the community, then they can listen to a cupful on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify for podcasters. Listen, you name it, you'll probably be able to find it. Spotify as well. Did I mention Spotify? I hope I mentioned Spotify as well. So yeah, have a lovely remainder of this week. Have a lovely remainder of this week. Rest when you need to, work when you need to. Take care of yourself. Look in the mirror and say good things and kind things to yourself. Love up on yourself. Love up on your people. Keep an open heart and an open mind. And most importantly, don't forget to keep doing the things that fill your cup.